Hi there, and welcome to the results of your mobility section of the CaliUnity orientation. My name's Guy. I'm the gym manager, as well as the chief mobility specialist and mixed movement expert here at CaliUnity. So, as you've gone through the mobility section with Ollie in video form, going through 5 different patterns and putting down on the form where you are with those patterns. And what I'm here to show you is exercises to improve those patterns regardless of which stage you're at in your journey to achieve that pattern. Whether it's slightly earlier on, you're in the middle, or you're feeling more advanced in that pattern, I'm going to be here to show you the exercises to help improve those ranges regardless of the time you have in the day, regardless of the training time you have outside of Cali. I'm going to be here to go through these with you, and even if you can apply them for maybe 5 minutes a day, or an hour a week, or 3 times a day, you can choose the frequency. It's completely up to you, but all of these patterns will help benefit those ranges for you. Welcome to the cross legs pattern section. So in your mobility orientation, Ollie asked you to test how you can sit in a cross-legged position. So I'm now going to go through 3 different movements with you, whether you're at the beginning of your journey to achieve cross-leggedness, whether you're still just trying to find and open up the range a little bit more, or whether cross-leg is feeling really good and you really want to work on that hip rotation. So the first movement we're going to work through is where you're at the beginning of your journey and you're still trying to open up your range in the hips. The movement position we're going to work on is called the 90-90 position. And it's called the 90-90 because we sit with our knees at 90 degrees. So my front knee follows out the direction of my chest. My chest is nice and proud. And whichever leg is forward, I'm supporting it with the hand on the same side. So my left leg is forward, knee at 90 degrees, with my left hand supporting. Now, if bringing your knees to 90 degrees in this position feels really tough, we can just close the angle of the knee on both legs, and it's just going to make the movement a little bit easier to access. And especially if you are suffering with a bit of cramp and you just want to work into those ranges nicely, just take it nice and gently there. So, knees at 90 degrees, nice and proud, and I'm going to work into the external rotation of my right leg. So I'm going to be forward, and I'm just going to squeeze and lift the knee, keeping the back foot flat to the floor, and bring it back down nice and slowly. Squeeze and lift, and then back down. The range should be quite small, quite tight. What we don't want to do is roll back into the hips, turn the chest, and allow the hip to open and come up more. We need to keep those hips forward. See here, nice and strong. My hip runs parallel to the shoulder and to the knee. So we've got this nice straight line from here to there. And we're going to keep that, keep the hip forward, don't let it roll back, keep forward and work into it. And each time you perform your external rotations, 8 to 10 reps, the amount of sets you do is up to you depending on the time frame that you have. And then we switch and do the external rotation on the opposite side. I'm going to come round. I'm going to do it side on so you can see the view side on now. So my right leg is forward. My right hand, here it is supporting me on my right hand side. I've steepled the fingers so I'm nice and upright. Chest pointing forward over the front leg. Knees at 90 degrees, and I'm coming into that external rotation. And I know my hip is in the right position because if I reach out with my hand, I can touch the knee there on the side. And I would know if my hips were broken, my hand would overshoot my leg. So I'm here, opening up through the range, coming back down. Same amount of reps on each side before we come into the internal rotation. So for the internal rotation, back on our starting side, we're going to plant the knee and instead lift the foot and bring it forward. So we're really going to work into the glute med, which is the muscle in the side of our bum. And we're going to do that by planting both knees as low to the floor as we can. Again, we can offset the intensity by bending the knees within 90 degrees. And chest nice and tall. And all I'm going to do is squeeze and lift and pull my heel up behind me. I'll demo this one on the side as well so you can see, but we're working into the glute med here, nice and strong, and finding that lift in the diagonal position. Now, I also like to have my thumb in front of my eyes when I do this exercise, because if my hand starts to drop, I know I'm leaning forward and compensating with my weight being brought forward, so it's easier to lift that back leg. We don't want to do that. So if I keep my thumb at eye height, I know I'm coming into that position to do it just right. Again, 8 to 10 reps here. Really slow down the movement as you move the foot back towards the floor and try and keep that intensity. I'll switch sides and demonstrate here so you can see. 90 degrees, steeple in the fingers, chest over that front leg in the exact same setup. Find the knees at 90, but instead of lifting through the hip and into the knee, we're going to lift from the foot here. Thumb in front, squeeze and lift, and go. Again, don't forget about bending that knee to offset. 8 to 10 reps, same as the external rotation, and you're good to go. The next movement I want to showcase in the cross-legged pattern for you is where you're relatively comfortable with sitting cross-legged, and you just want to expand those ranges to get the knees a little bit closer to the floor. Maybe you're eventually trying to hit that kind of lotus type position. You're trying to get the external rotation there that you need. It's called a tailor or a weighted butterfly. So I've got my weights here. I'm going to put one over each leg. Find yourself against a wall for this one, so the flat of your back can go against a wall. I'm just using a box for demonstration purposes, but you want something quite solid. You want to bring your feet together as close to the groin as you can, where you can feel a bit of a stretch. Grab your weights. I'd start slightly lighter than you would think would be necessary. And as you start to build more range, you can add more weight because you can pull yourself into the range. But to start with, go for something between 7.5 and 12 kilos. And as you get stronger through your adductors, i.e. the muscles that run from your groin to your knee, you'll be able to add a bit of extra weight to then lift up. But we're going to start relatively light. And then eventually the range will be such that you'll be able to sit in this position basically with your knees on the floor without having to use any weights at all. So, weight on one knee first, then the other. Soles of my feet together. And this is where we find our deep breathing. And for the first minute or so, I would like you to just try and relax through the legs. Each out breath, try and pull your knees a little bit closer to the floor. For this one, making sure you're wearing nice, comfy, slightly baggier clothing, as baggier clothing has actually been scientifically proven to help facilitate longer and deeper movement because your body feels like it has more space. So just make sure you've got slightly baggier clothes on, taking those knees down nice and low. keeping the feet together and the back nice and straight. So for the first minute or so, you're just going to let the body do its thing, relax into that stretched feeling, and just letting everything kind of go. You're almost connecting the mind to the muscles to let everything relax. When you feel you're as relaxed as you can be, we're going to start by pushing down into the weights through the hands, so putting pressure into the knee, and through this pressure we're going to squeeze the knees towards each other, so that will lift the knees. But we want a bit of resistance from the hands, so we're going to go 1, 2, knees coming together, 3, and you're going for, again, 8 to 10 reps every time. 5. All right. Once you've done 10 of those, we're then going to apply the pressure downwards, but we're going to squeeze the knees down towards the floor. So we're literally going for the opposite muscles straight away. So we've just worked the adductors, i.e. the muscles in the groin, and now we're going to work the muscles through the glute med and the other side of the groin to pull the knees down. So now we're going to apply pressure and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then we're just going to have another relaxed hold at the end, just trying to bring the legs down. Just try and relax into it. Find that feeling where it does feel a little bit uncomfortable. That's okay. Just nothing too extreme. Try and hold again for around a minute if you can, or just as long as you can to feel relaxed. Spreading the tension through the body. Then we're going to let it go nice and gently. One weight off, then the other, and then we gently bring the legs back together. So the next movement I'd like to show you, if you're feeling quite comfortable in that cross-legged position, is called the elevated pigeon. Now, with the elevated pigeon, we can grab a block and place it on the side of an elevated surface where we're going to then put our leg with our standing leg behind us. And we always want to start when we're warming up this movement to have a little bit more height under the knee. Hence, I've put the block here. I'm going to bring up my right leg, push the knee down into the block, so I'm nice and supported. And then I'm going to try and take my left leg back as far as I can. So I'm in this nice elevated position. And then I'm going to start to lean in, pulling my chest towards the leg. Really nice neutral spine, nice and long, crown of the head reaching forward. I'm trying to come down as low as I can. Now, once we start to feel stronger and stronger here, we can remove the block, put the leg flat, lengthen the stride in this back leg, and do the same thing. Coming all the way down nice and low. And again, throughout the entire range of motion, trying to keep that nice neutral spine and work it down through. Again, 8 to 10 reps on each leg. When this starts to feel quite comfortable, we can either add a barbell to the back, a plate to the shoulders and hold like this. So we come down and up. Or we can also hold dumbbells in that same way, down the spine, elevate the elbows slightly, find the neutral spine, find that extension, and back up. And you do the same on the other side.